When you think of platforming games, what comes to mind first? Maybe you thought of Mario. Or if you're more of a Sega guy, you might have thought of the Blue Blur himself. Or maybe you even thought of one of the countless indie games that are out there on the market nowadays. No matter what you thought of though, it's pretty safe to say most of them probably play in a pretty similar fashion. You move towards the right edge of the screen, and you try to make it to the end of the stage. Now, I'm not knocking the structure at all. It's a tried and true system, and some of the very best, most classic games out there have all utilized it. But what if you want something different? Sure, you've got your Metroidvanias or your roguelites, but I mean, what if you wanted something completely unique? Well, look no further, because this past May, Nintendo released their first entry in the Yoshi franchise in 7 years, and it's just that, completely unique. So, join me as we take a dive into the whimsical pages of Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Personally, I've never been super big into the Yoshi franchise. Sure, I've always enjoyed what I've played of these games, but up until recently, I've only ever really played through Yoshi's Island. The most recent game I picked up in the series was Yoshi's New Island, which I honestly don't think was too bad. Aside from, well... Hey! Get that out of here! Much better. Point is, I've never been huge on this franchise. When Nintendo had announced Mysterious Book back in September though, something about it caught my eye. Maybe it was the fresh new art style, or the brand new gameplay mechanics it brought to the table, or maybe it was simply just the fact that I had just finished the original Yoshi's Island not too long prior. Either way, they had my attention. Fast forward 8 months later to the game's release back in May, and I decided to pick it up, and let me tell you, I've been loving it ever since. The backstory of the game is pretty simple. The opening cinematic follows Bowser Jr. as he uncovers a strange tome atop a massive pile of books in the library of what I assume to be Bowser's castle, and wow, you've got to clean up a bit in there, man. I mean seriously, it's a mess in there. What's the point of having all those shelves if you're not going to use them anyway? That's like if I just took all my games and just... Why would you do such a thing? Anyway, flipping through the pages of this strange book, an illustration of a mysterious bird catches Bowser Jr.'s eye. And what do you know? It seems to live on Yoshi's Island. Determined to find this strange creature, he hits out on his clown car, and, long story short, Bowser Jr. winds up getting sucked into the book. The Yoshis discover said book, which we then learn can actually talk, and it promptly tasks the group of dinosaurs with exploring the mysterious creatures within its pages. Oh, yeah, and as for the name of the book, Mr. Encyclopedia. Or, for short, Mystery. Good one, Nintendo. And that's the basic story of this game out of the way. It's pretty cut and dry, which is pretty expected from a platformer. Though the narrative is relatively simple, though, that doesn't mean it still can't be unique. And, as such, it lends itself really well to the brand new type of gameplay that this game has to offer. A good way to describe Yoshi and the Mysterious Book would be like a cozy puzzle platformer. Underneath the hood, it's still a Yoshi game, and as such, the bones are still there. The platforming, egg throwing, and coin collecting that we're all so used to from these games are still ever present. What is different this time around, though, is the way you go about clearing each level. Previous Yoshi games, and most platformers in general as we established earlier, all use the same mechanic. Get from point A to point B, and, if you'd like, try to get the best score possible while doing so. It's a tried and true system that we've all come to expect from platformers over the years. Mysterious Book, however, takes this system and completely flips it on its head. This time around, levels are completely open. You won't be traveling on a linear path to get to the goal at the end because, well, there really is no one goal. Instead, you'll be traveling back and forth throughout each level, experimenting with the world and creatures around you in order to make new discoveries and fill out Mr. E's pages. The goal of each stage takes the form of a big main discovery, and even once you've figured that one out, you can still choose to stay in the level to discover more things before you decide to wrap up your session. There's no time limit, no one main objective, and you can stay in each stage for as long as you like, which is exactly why I described this as a cozy platformer. It's a system that kind of reminds me of games like Mario Odyssey in a way, only much more relaxed and in the 2D form. Different creatures also have different abilities that'll help you explore each chapter within Mr. E's pages, and discovering and using them is a ton of fun. Some act as grappling hooks, some are water jetpacks, some act as bug nets for a nice relaxing day of bug catching in the oh my god, never mind. He just ate him. Anyway, these are just a few of the abilities that you'll get to try throughout this game, and with 6 main chapters each containing their own creatures, there's plenty to discover and experiment with here. There's also a really cool segment towards the end of the main game that uses every creature, but I don't want to spoil it for you guys, so I'm not going to show any gameplay of that here. Just trust me, it's pretty cool. Each discovery also gives you a star, which gets added to your total star count. These are important because in order to unlock later chapters, you'll need to earn a certain amount of stars first. That means that you won't be able to just breeze through each level only focusing on the main discovery. You'll have to take the time for a bit of exploration as well, which really adds some extra depth to the gameplay loop. Like previous entries in the series, smiley flowers are also present for those who like to collect them. And from what I've seen, each level can contain anywhere from 3 up to 7. This time around though, these aren't just collectibles for collecting's sake. They actually have a purpose, and once you finish the main story, you may notice a new option under the pause menu called Exploration Tools. Here, you can exchange your flowers for new tools to help you throughout your post-game journey. These tools act as customizable HUD elements with various different uses, ranging from more cosmetic ones like a taste sensor for some reason, to much more useful ones like a creature radar or a flower tracker. As you can probably tell, collectibles are plentiful in this game. You're much more incentivized to find them this time around as well, which means you'll want to gather as many as you can throughout your journey. And speaking of collecting, like most platformers, this game also has coins to collect. Or, to be more precise in this case, tokens. Instead of being used as a score metric this time around, tokens are meant for spending as well. 20 tokens will net you 1 hint that relates to whatever discoveries you may still be missing, and trust me, this is extremely useful, especially if you're the type of person who doesn't really like looking up solutions on the internet. These tokens are plentiful through each stage as well, so 20 for 1 hint isn't a whole lot. That means that these hints are pretty much always readily available for those times when you may be stumped and need a quick nudge in the right direction. Once you've unlocked a hint, you can also spend even more tokens in order to reveal the exact solution of the said hint. It's useful, although this costs 100 tokens, so you'll really only want to do this when you're really stuck. Speaking of being stuck, another thing I feel like I should discuss is the difficulty of this game. Yoshi games are already a pretty casual experience, and that's definitely the case for this one as well. In fact, this game may even dial it down a bit more than its predecessors in the series. There are no lives, hazards are somewhat sparse, and there really aren't any major consequences for messing up, save for a few instances where you might have to restart a level in order to make a certain discovery available again if you missed it the first time around. Like a puzzle game, the main difficulty comes from simply not knowing what to do next. Now, that being said, I actually don't mind this all that much. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a relaxing platformer, so Nintendo taking the easygoing approach with this game makes plenty of sense. Now, would I have liked to at least see a difficulty option for people who may want a bit more of a challenge? Sure, but between all of the mysteries and flowers there are to uncover and collect, there's still some sort of challenge present if you feel like going for that elusive 100%. There are also unlockable challenges later on in the game that are perfect for those who may find the base game a bit too easygoing, and I'll be going into that in a minute. Like most platformers, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is relatively short, clocking in at just under 10 hours to complete. However, that's if you're only playing through the main story. And okay, it's time I finally address the elephant in the room. Why do I keep mentioning the base game? Well, once you beat the main 6 worlds, you'll unlock 6 new additional chapters to play through, each with their own unique creatures and challenges. When I first beat the game, I was honestly kinda shocked at how much post-game content there was, and honestly, it's more of an entire second half to the game than it is extra content. The story continues on into these new worlds too, so you'll definitely want to play through them if you'd like to see everything that this game has to offer narratively. It honestly kind of reminds me of Pikmin 2 in a way, since that game did the same exact thing with its post-game content. Keeping all that in mind, I'd say that this game's true length is more so around twice the length at around 20 hours, and if you want to go for everything, it's even longer at around 40 hours. Between 6 main chapters, 6 additional chapters, and plenty of discoveries and flowers to uncover throughout them all, there's definitely a lot to do in this game. If you're a completionist, then trust me, you'll be playing this one for a while. Though $70 for the physical copy may be a bit hard for some to swallow, the game still sits at the regular $60 price tag if you're willing to go digital instead. Personally, I picked this one up physically because I like collecting games, but no matter which format you wind up going for, I think there's plenty here in order to get your money's worth. Although mostly good, it's no secret that the Yoshi franchise has been a bit stagnant when it comes to trying new things, aside from its art style over the years. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book finally breaks that mold for a fresh new experience in the series, and between the game's beautiful art style, its upbeat feel-good soundtrack, and a unique new gameplay system, I'd put this one up there as one of the best in the franchise. With the demo now readily available as well, this is a game that I think any Nintendo fan, or fans of platformers, cozy games, or puzzle games in general, should at least give a try.